Hey guys, what's up? It's Ashley, and I am excited to be here doing my first live on Frenshe. So exciting. I just did a workout and it was very hard. So I'm a little bit of a mess, but I also had a little bit of a breakout, and so when that happens, I tend to just not want to put makeup on, just so like my skin kind of just like, calms down a little bit. It's like the best part about being in quarantine is that, you don't have to wear makeup all the time. So I got your questions and I just wanted to answer some of them. They were super helpful. But I hope everybody's been loving Frenshe and loving the posts. It means so much to me. Seeing your comments and your DMs, and I don't know, it's just like, I can't believe it's been out there for a couple weeks now, and it's just been such a passion project for me. And so and I just feel like I'm connecting with you guys on just a different level. Like, I feel like with my social media, I love to entertain you guys on my Instagram and like Twitter and TikTok. And I just feel like this just has a deeper connection because I think we're like building a community where we get to be honest and talk about these things and vulnerable. And so it's just been really cool. And I just feel like I've gotten to know you guys a lot more, and I feel like you guys have gotten to know me more personally. So that has just been such a positive in this journey. But let me answer some of your questions. So let's see here. Sorry guys, my stuff is on. Let me see if I could turn that off. Cool. So one of your questions was about my experience with my health issues and mental health before I switched to non-toxic products. For me, actually there's a post coming up on Frenshe about this, but I would have to say that, obviously I've struggled with anxiety and depression in the past, and I think that, like, I don't know how to explain it, but I think that, I'm someone who likes to dig deeper, and when I go through certain things on health issues, I don't really kind of like to stop at, when they're like, oh, just, take this, or, I'm just not someone who goes straight to like taking a pill for something. With my anxiety and depression, I have never taken anything for it, which has been great, but that's just because I don't have to, and I'm not against it because I feel like that is completely fine if you do take stuff. I also just feel like I do a lot of work within myself to try to figure out, where it's completely coming from, because all these books that I've read, disease is really dis-ease in your body. So it's like an uncomfortability. And so I like to kind of dig deeper and find out what is causing the uncomfortableness in me, and try to get to the root of it and see if I can figure that out from there. But yeah, I think that, going non-toxic has been a process for me. It hasn't been overnight. I'm not completely non-toxic in my life. I talk about balance all the time. And so I think that, I would say, I can't say like what the benefits of my mental health. I have to say I've definitely have gotten better with anxiety for sure. But I think it's a combination of all of those things. Another question you guys have was about insecurities, which is my favorite topic to talk about. It's been a journey to self-love, and it hasn't been easy for me. It's been years. I think that I definitely have insecurities, just like everybody does. When someone says they don't, I definitely question that. But yeah, I think that it's learning to embrace the things we're insecure about and like our flaws to ourselves. It's learning to embrace that and love ourselves for those things. And it's just easier, obviously, said than done. And it's like we see tons of memes, or not memes, but like tons of like, cute quotes on Pinterest about self-love. But I think to truly get over those insecurities, one of the things I would have to say is that what I've learned is that things we are insecure about, no one else notices. Like nobody. No one notices. It's just that we as people are, I think, hard on ourselves. We see each other all the time in the mirror. We're constantly like, looking at ourselves, judging ourselves. And I think, instead of judging and instead of being negative towards us, we should have more compassion. We should just really love ourselves and know that those little tiny flaws that we think are just so, horrible, like no one else notices them except for us. And a lot of the time, I think those flaws are what make us beautiful, because if we all looked the same or, everything was the same, I don't know. I think that that's just kind of like boring and bland. And I think that it's those little tiny things that make us different, that make us unique, and really make us beautiful. I think that's something, when I faced my anxiety and depression, it was, obviously something I was not embarrassed by, but very, I don't know, like I was scared to talk about it because it was something that wasn't perfect about me. And I was so used to being in the spotlight and being known for something and known a certain way. And I felt like, oh, am I going to let people down that, they might know this about me? And I actually think that is what, I don't know, it gives just a lot of depth to me. And I think it's just something that people didn't know about me. And if I just was like, I'm perfect and my life is perfect, I'm like, I don't think that's real. It's never real. No one has a perfect life. And, but it's also just like not as interesting, I think that those parts about me, those dark parts about me are what make me beautiful and make me whole, because it makes me who I am. And so I really try to embrace my insecurities and my flaws to be more positive than a negative. And I think that has helped me in my self-love journey. And I talked about, I have a whole post on my self-love journey on Frenshe, but I really, like I said, it does not happen overnight. And it is something, it's how you talk to yourself. It's kind of how we talk to ourselves in our mind, like those just even tiny negative thoughts of being like, oh man, like I don't feel so great today, or, like I don't look good in this outfit. Like those negative thoughts are like pushing us down, and even stuff like I've felt like I've failed at things in life, and, it's brutal to feel like you fail at something. And, but instead of judging myself, I'm like, you tried something, like you tried, you didn't succeed, but that's okay. Like everybody, does fail sometimes, and it's never just like always so great. And I think that is something that, yeah, I feel like you just gotta love yourself for those moments and stop judging ourselves and really just like embracing our insecurities and our flaws. So hopefully that has helped you guys. Another question is, how do I quit bad habits I've had for a long time? That's a hard one. I would have to say, everyone is different. So, it really depends on what kind of person you are. But for me, I'm not really good with like just cutting cold turkey, because I tend to I'll go back and start to do the bad habit probably. Like for me, I'm like trying to think of a bad habit of mine. And I think I love carbs, and I love gluten, and I'm supposed to be gluten-free. And so I would say, like, it's not a bad habit, but it's something that I tend to be like, maybe I'll just have gluten tonight and like just disregard that I'm really supposed to be cutting out gluten. So I feel like it's a gradual, I feel like anything lifestyle change, like, especially if it's a big thing and especially if it's a bad habit, like, I think that you got to do it gradually. It can't just be like, cut it off, because I think for me, I will tend to go back to that. And so yeah, it's just, I think do it more gradually. I think one of the other things that I would say about it is that remember why you're doing it. Like if it's something that you think you shouldn't be doing, or, for me with the gluten, I don't always feel great. So I have to like mentally think about like, okay, well, do you feel great after you have gluten? And then it's like, no, I don't. So I feel like, you just got to remember why. And sometimes writing that stuff down in your notes or something can really help you. I remember I had a relationship and it wasn't a bad habit. It was just like, my bad habit was going back to the person because I dated them for a couple years and we were on and off, and he wasn't really a great person for me. And so I was, the weakness was I was comfortable, and I really, really, liked him, and I wanted to be with him, but I just knew it was not right. And I knew it wasn't a great relationship for me to be in. I knew I deserved to be treated better. And so, one of the last times we broke up, I wrote a list of everything that was just like a negative, and being like, this is why you're doing this. This is why you need to let go of this relationship. And it really helped because I think sometimes our minds tend to want to remember like the good stuff, like the good memories, or like, the positives about maybe something that's a bad habit. And it's really important to have that list and to look at it and be like, oh yeah, like all of those things are why I'm walking away from this. So, I took it into a relationship, but sometimes that could be a bad habit as well. So, I think the lists really do help on why you are letting go of that in your life. Another question is about my meditation. I was never good with meditation at first. I used to do like hot yoga, and even those 5 minutes of meditating, was very hard for me to like stay in it. I just have a lot of energy, and I was just like, I can't do this. I always would leave the class around the meditation time. So I would say that, for me, what got me into it was just like inching my way in. I would just try for 2 minutes. I would try for 3 minutes, and I would gradually up my meditation. And eventually I did a book that was like, you have to do a 20-minute meditation. I was like, 20 minutes? This is crazy. That's so long. But learning how to like ease your mind and be peaceful and like let go, and because obviously your mind wants to go back to thinking, and you've got to continually just like let it go. It really did help. I think this book helped me with meditation, but also apps helped me. I love Insight Timer. I love the guided meditations. I love them because you're listening to someone who's helping you through it, which helps me. And I also love Insight Timer because anytime I feel a certain way, like when I was going in for my explant surgery, I was nervous, obviously, about getting the surgery done. And there was one on a surgery, a meditation for it. And so I really liked that because it just like prepared you to be more positive and calm. And I remember being very calm that morning. And so, yeah, I love Insight Timer. It has so many for whatever you're dealing with in the moment, which was great. Another question is, how has Frenshe helped me personally? Well, Frenshe has helped me personally just by so many things, just by being honest about everything that I've been through. I've been through a lot over the last couple years, and having a platform where I'm able to talk about my experiences through that stuff and what I've learned has been really great. And being vulnerable is also really awesome. I feel, like I said, I just feel like I connect with you guys a lot more, and there's just a strong connection, which is really nice. That's helped. Seeing your messages of support through, what I've been through has really helped. It's also helped friends of mine that have been inspired by what I did on my X-Plan, and seeing people go through that too. And it's like, it's pretty awesome to see someone get inspired by something that you've gone through and loving themselves. And I'm like, oh, that makes me feel so good. Like, I just want people to I don't know, I just want to help people on their self-love journey, just because it's taken me some time. And I think that I really want people to, you guys, obviously, to love yourselves and to, just live your best, happy and healthiest life. And also there's, tons of posts that I haven't written. I mean, when I do write, I do feel like what helps me, is that it somehow lets go of what I was, writing about. I know I did one on toxicity in your life that isn't just products. It was also about letting go of people. And that was really therapeutic for me because I hadn't thought about that situation in a while. And so being able to write that post, it felt like, I don't know, it just felt therapeutic, and that I was letting go of what that was. And so I really loved and enjoyed writing that. But also just seeing other people's posts like Steph Shep and how I should reduce my, just climate consciousness and my carbon footprint and learning how to do the simple things to do that. I'm still learning about that, and I'm still learning about, even coming across how bedding can be toxic is I didn't know that either. And so that's just been really cool because having guest writers, I get to just learn myself even more on being non-toxic and what I can do better in my life. And let's see, what are the topics? I know, you guys loved the feminine health post that we did on periods last week, and so I really want to do more posts on that because you guys were really interested in that. I also loved how there was such a huge response on stretch marks. I've had stretch marks, and I've never been so I've always been a little embarrassed. This is just a funny story. So my ass grew when I was in high school. I think not that it grew that much, but I had a very flat ass and then it grew overnight, it felt like. And so I have stretch marks on the side, and I was always just embarrassing in a bathing suit and stuff. And so I loved seeing the response on that post and myself being very being just open about how I have that. And so I just really enjoy reading your comments because it makes me feel better about those situations as well. So that's been really cool. We have more fitness stuff coming up. I've been training with Amanda Klutz. She's so amazing. I don't even use weights, and I am sweating. I mean, I'm a mess. I'm sweating. It's hard. It's we just do it over Zoom, and it's been brutal and amazing. So I have her doing a post. I have a post about my journey being vegan when I was vegan. So I'm excited for you guys to see that. And yeah, I think I'm having so much fun with you guys, and I love, even just talking with you guys on this live. But I hope you are enjoying Frenshe. And I'm excited for what's to come. And there's another, you guys also did ask, you asked me if Frenshe is just for females and if there's gonna be more male stuff. And right now it is for females because it's obviously a lot of it, is stuff that I've people I really am inspired by, and also who I work with or who I've gone to. Like Christy Kidd, my dermatologist, did a post on acne and skincare. And so like right now it is more female centered, but there's always room to grow into more male oriented stuff. So I don't want to say that it's just for females, but right now it is. But because everyone can self-love, and everybody can. So we'll see. I mean, like right now I just like to focus on, kind of growing with you guys and seeing what you guys want more of and writing more. And, I think that that's really my focus right now with Frenshe. But I hope you guys love it. This has been so much fun. And, I see some questions. Oh, my favorite sweatshirt and sweatpants brand. Ooh, man, I have a lot of sweats, as you guys know. This is Alexander Wang. I love Max Rue is amazing because they have all the tie-dye. I wear that stuff a lot and they're super comfortable and like more like boyfriend sweats, which I like. It's not like so, tight fit. But yeah, that's, I love stuff at Urban Outfitters. It's a really good place to get sweats. I love getting stuff there. What else? How was the moment when you found out that you had anxiety and depression? How was the moment? The moment was, I would say, I would say that I kind of always knew maybe I had anxiety. I just didn't really know, I guess, like that it was what I was suffering from. But I would have stuff like heart flutters when I would go to perform live, or a little bit of like panic attacks before a live performance. And so there was like something clearly going on. But when I did this book that really acknowledged, it makes you more present. And I was very present that I was feeling all of my feelings. I realized I was suffering from that. And, it was like obviously hard to take in, but I do believe, like my mom does have anxiety. So I think I probably learned bits of that from her. And, I think at first it was just like, okay, well, how do I kind of get through this? And then years into it, it was when it started getting really bad. And it was, sometimes it was, debilitating. I would be in meetings with my production company, and it was just like, I felt frozen. I felt frozen inside my body. I felt like I wanted to like run out of the room, and it was just very hard. And I was like hiding that, while I was in the meeting, because I'm professional, and I just like was like, okay, just like breathe through this. So it started to get really bad, and it was really hard for me. And I just felt, oh, there's little Ziggy's behind me. I just felt like at that point, something had to change. I could not keep living the way I was living with that feeling, and no one should live that way and feel that way. So, that's when I, worked with, the books that I've talked about, Attacking Anxiety and Depression, but also, went to therapy, and that helped a lot as well. So it was just the more I communicated about my feelings, I felt better about it. And I think that's important. I think it's so important actually, to communicate how you feel. I know it might feel scary, but even to a friend, because when you deal with it on your own and you're not talking about it, it can feel very lonely, and it can feel like you're by yourself in this like journey, and you don't know who could even relate or understand. But I can promise you, it's like the more you talk about it, the better you will understand that a lot of people go through anxiety at some point in their life, or depression, and that a lot of people suffer from it, and they can help you through those moments. And so I really do believe in communicating how you feel about those feelings. Aw, somebody said Frenshe is one of the best things. Thank you. I'm so glad. I mean, it's really, it is all for you guys. It's, Frenshe is about you. It's for you. It's for you to learn on positives and negatives in my life, on things that I've gone through and experiences that I want to share, and also a lot of other people's experiences. So I'm so glad you guys are loving it. It means so much to me. Yeah, it's like, it's so great. Let's see. I got a question of why are you depressed? Well, I'm not depressed right now. I was in the past. I don't know where that comes from, because I think you could be anybody and have those feelings. But I think that, what I've read in books is that if you have anxiety for multiple years and it's really strong anxiety, apparently it can deplete the serotonin in your brain, which then causes depression. And that's why they say anxiety and depression coincide with each other, because if you deal with anxiety for a while, it can cause that. And so I think that is where the depression kind of was coming from, was that I was dealing for years with anxiety and not kind of, processing that. And so that's maybe what caused that in that moment. But, I never was I was always like an active person with depression. I never was someone who would just not do stuff. Like I always, I'm always busy working. So it was just kind of like, I just felt funky, and I didn't it wasn't my normal positive self. And so that's when, and I also didn't know that that's what I was suffering from until I did that book, and it kind of tells you what level you're at. And then I was like, oh my God, I didn't even know that that's what I was going through. But what's so great about the book, it's like a 15-week program. And by the end of the program, you kind of do these questions again, and tells you if you're out of it or not. And I was out of that. So yeah, that's, I think, where my kind of depression came from. Thank you for saying my skin is gorgeous. Thank you. That's so sweet of you. Anyway, I was going to say, there was another thing. Oh, one of the questions I did forget was, you guys were asking how has being non-toxic changed just in everything in my everyday life? And I would say that, I can't pinpoint exactly how it's changed, but I just know that my energy is better. I would say I, don't deal with as many kind of stomach issues. And I think that, it was kind of especially when I changed deodorants, there's aluminum in deodorant, and I had done blood work and I had a lot of heavy metals in my blood. And I was just like, how is that possible? And so they're like, well, do you use stuff? And I was researching, and I found that my deodorant had aluminum in it. So I switched to a natural deodorant. That was the first thing that I've did on the non-toxic, my non-toxic journey. And I feel I don't know, I just feel better about it. So I have to say because it's been so gradual, I can't say right away this changed. I've been inching my way. My whole kitchen just turned to non-toxic. We just started using non-toxic products like cleaning supplies. All I can say is I've gotten better. I feel healthier, and I just feel better. So that is definitely the difference from when I, was kind of using more toxic products, I would say. I also started using non-toxic on my skin and for my beauty, and I don't know. I think that that's also been really great. I don't know if anything's changed there, but it feels great. So I just feel great doing, more non-toxic stuff. But anyway, I am going to go, and I just want to say thank you guys again for tuning in. Let me know if you guys liked this whole Insta Live, and if you guys want to do more. But thank you so much for loving Frenshe. I love you guys so much. And I hope you have a really amazing day.